All right, everybody, this is the How to Hunt Turkey podcast. I'm your host, Dan Johnson. And today we have a very special guest. And I don't know if it's because he's some killer stud turkey caller, but it is because he's my friend and we went to high school together. And it was my second ever turkey season. And after my first ever turkey season, I said, dude, you got to come out and try this camp with me and my uncle, which was probably a mistake in the long run.
No mistake.
No mistake. Okay, good. But Mr. Brent Rich, how we doing, my friend?
Good. Doing well.
Dude, it's springtime. What's on your mind right now? Here we are in mid-April. It's April. Actually, we're past mid-April. April 23rd when we're recording this. What's on your brain this time of year?
Well, shed season and then turkey season.
Okay.
Just kind of finished up shed season, and it's always turkey season.
Yeah.
Specifically right now, though, my older son's getting ready to graduate, so I'm trying to fend off my spouse and the code reds that are happening, planning graduation parties and stuff like that. Trying to plan the graduation party and still find time to turkey hunt, but it's all turkey season right now.
Yeah.
Sending all the memes and all the pictures and all the everything to all the buddies and stuff like that. So that's where we're at.
I gotcha. Now, where do you lie in the balance? The scale of justice, right? Are you the guy who leans a little bit closer to turkey, or are you a whitetail guy? If you were going to put a label on yourself, what are you?
Well, after the infamous turkey camp, I used to be the guy who deer hunted in between turkey seasons.
Gotcha.
About, I don't know, 15 years ago that switched. And so now turkey season is something I just do to fill the gap.
Yeah.
In between whitetail seasons. But and it gives me time to spend time with the boys and my buddies in the woods. So
yeah.
So I'm 100% whitetail. 100% whitetail all the way, but
okay, but there was a shift there.
Yes.
Now, did that shift happen because of your boys, or did you just kind of get into bow hunting a little bit more?
Bow hunting, 100% bow hunting. And then mutual friends that we've encountered upon our lives, and that influenced us. And then watching you get into bow hunting and grow bigger into whitetail, and then that is like, well, if they're gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. So one thing leads to another, and now it's an addiction. So
I feel that. Okay, so I a lot of this turkey camp that we have mentioned here.
I would let's not even call it a camp.
Okay, what was it then? If it wasn't a turkey camp, then what was it?
Because I don't even know if there's
were you even 21 at the time? Because it was 2001. It would have been it would have been 2002, April 2002.
No,
I would have just been 21.
No,
and you would have been 20, right?
Yeah, I luckily we were in whatever small town we were in, and the bars didn't card.
See, I don't even remember going to the bars. That's what I'm talking about.
That's why we don't call it a camp.
Exactly. So here is my rendition, and I want to hear your intake on this. But my uncle invited me the previous year to this. I don't even want to call it a cabin or a shed. It was just what was it?
It's a Menards, those prefabbed sheds you get if you live in town. You can put your lawnmowers in.
Yeah.
That are still $10,000 now or whatever. It's one of those.
And he built a bunk bed in it.
Yeah.
Right? He built
you would put gas cans on.
Yeah, exactly. But those turned into where we slept, because I think there was 3 of us. There was me, you, and my uncle, and all of us are 6 foot, right? So And I don't know if you remember this. I just remember my uncle's feet stinking so bad because he like wore rubber boots the entire weekend and nobody showered. And it was just like, it was like the worst possible human conditions, like prisoners of war never even experienced stuff like this, but we were doing it to have fun for turkey hunting.
Yep. With no idea what we were doing.
Exactly.
Because what he said was, truth, because we had no clue.
Exactly. Coming from two rookie turkey hunters, we had no idea. All I know is that we got there that second year. We got there at like 4:00 in the afternoon, the day before the season started, and we just started cracking beers. And I just like, because that's what we did back then. Couple 30 packs of Busch Light, and all I know is that the next morning that alarm went off, and I think my other uncle showed up to take you. Mm-hmm. And I went with the uncle that stayed with us, and it was like I would just have this fog in my brain, like how are we even going to do this today? And I can remember just like having my other uncle took you around the bend or something like that. Yep. And me and my uncle just dropped straight off of this cattle pasture where this shed was down into the public below, and instantly started hearing gobbles from the roost, which it was almost like automatic to shoot a turkey at that point in the game.
That's all it took.
Yeah.
I remember back to like what you're talking about is how I remember sitting in the dark thinking like, what in the heck? This is another one of Dan's deals that I'm just in with. Because that happened often at that point in our lives. And then you heard one just crack off. And I remember just looking over at your uncle, who I met in the dark at whatever time in the morning. And I'm still just pissed drunk. And I'm like, and he was like, "Oh yeah, boy." And then it was just like, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot that sucker in the face.
And probably the only reason you knew he was there is because you could see the end of a cigarette getting burnt down.
Yep.
In the dark.
And the only reason he knew I was there because I was probably packing some Copenhagen.
Golly. Oh my God. And now I look back at that and I go, these are the stories I do not want to tell my oldest boy. It's like, hey, let's have booze and guns and hunting all in the same story. Just not a good look at that point. Yeah. But we survived it.
It was a good time.
It was fun. But we both killed turkeys.
We did. I don't know. Well, I mean, there's a lot that happened between that morning and when I killed my turkey.
Right. I shot mine right off the bat.
And then I remember it just got like stupid hot.
Yep.
And that's when the hangovers kicked in.
Yep.
And I remember going back. I remember there's just like the shed, like now that you think back about it, it was kind of like picturesque. It was kind of like up on top of a hill with rolling down to that field where you shot your bird.
Yep.
And I remember one cracking off down in the bottoms in the afternoon, and your uncle making us go down there to try and kill it. And like that was before reaping was a thing.
Yeah.
And I remember just like puking the whole time, like going down there. Because it was a big hill, and we were just sweating. Like,
I love how you're puking on the way down the hill instead of back.
Well, we were drinking already.
I know. Oh my Lord.
And then, I mean, not like drinking, but we had like one with breakfast, one with lunch, because we didn't have Bloody Marys. We were too poor.
Yep.
And we're just like trying to break the curve. You know, we were trying to get back right with Jesus.
Yep.
And man, and then I remember going out, and that's when I knew your uncle was serious. At one point, he called in like 3 toms, and I remember you and I were posted up against this oak tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember.
Oh my God! Oh yes!
I remember waking up to him yelling,
"Shoot him! Shoot him!"
And these toms we were both laying down on the ground, sleeping. They were at like 8 yards. And we wake up, knock over the gun.
3 strutters, just like 10 yards right in front of us.
Done.
Oh my God.
He was pissed.
He was pissed. Because I believe it was like, that was day 3 or something like that. And we had been working, and he had been trying to put us in position to kill turkey, all like, well, position for you to shoot a turkey all like those following 2 days. And then we'd just sleeping underneath
He was
that.
pissed.
Oh my God. He was like, these knuckleheads, like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do. And that happened, man. I remember, man. So where we were hunting was like this waterfowl refuge.
Yeah.
And on the high ground, kind of next to the river, all these turkeys were just loaded in there. And so we would go in, we'd pop in these pockets and then call them in. And throughout we were on birds the entire time.
Yeah.
They come in silent like those birds did. I mean, they could have been cracking off, but we didn't know.
No clue.
But then we had that other scenario where I think my other uncle had put us in a spot, and you were in between. And I think like he was calling, and I was trying to call, and you were right in the middle. And then they kind of flanked out too wide, and they were behind some stuff. And there was like 2 strutters coming in there. But I just remembered, like, out of all the craziness, how much fun that was, just like running and gunning for turkeys, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just an absolute blast.
I agree. That was, and honestly, I don't even know if you and I's ever talked about this, but that was, I mean, I had whitetail hunted a couple of times before then, when we were in high school, but that was like my real first hunting experience, like especially going away for a weekend and stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what set the hook, you know what I mean? Which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But that was before really any of our social group turkey hunted even.
No, I know that some of the crew we ran with would do like the traditional shotgun season deer drives, but that was, I mean, I knew some of the guys who were into maybe some bow hunting, like some of our friends' dads were like Nate Crothers, right? Like his dad has always been a big time bow hunter. But like outside of that, I really didn't know too many people who were serious about the hunting other than my uncle, right? And so, like you said, man, that was kind of a let's start dabbling in this stuff time frame.
Boy, did we ever!
Then we kind of got obsessed with it a little bit, didn't we? Yeah. Let's move past that. The last, that first year. What was that? What was turkey hunting for you like after that? Like, not knowing necessarily how to do it after that, because I don't think we went back for a second year in a row, did we?
I don't think that town ever wanted us to come back.
No, I don't think so.
And to be honest with you, Dan, I don't even know what town we were in. I know it was Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa, yep.
That's all I know.
I gave you an address and said, show up here. And you probably had to use a paper map to get to it.
Yeah, because that was like before the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like MapQuest days. You had to print that stuff out.
Yep. That would have been like 2002, 2001 timeframe.
I maybe had a cell phone. The old, what was the old flip phone?
Nokia?
Yeah. One of those bad boys.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No evidence, baby.
No evidence.
Anyway, so back then, that was about the time where you were still in school, right?
I was in college. I think it was my sophomore year, my first year at UNI. And so that would have been my...
Hold on. So I don't mean to interrupt. Well, I kind of do, because this just adds to the story. So at that point in time in my life, you had... This tells you how much we were into hunting. At that point in time, I was still at school at Central Missouri State down in Warrensburg, Missouri.
Yep.
So you had convinced me to not only skip college, which wasn't hard, but also drive.
Like 7 hours.
Yeah. Done deal.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see you there. And I don't think there was too much convincing. I think it was like, hey, do you want to come up and, cause I know you were kind of wanting to get into hunting, and I was just like, hey, do you want to come up and drink beer and chase turkeys for a weekend? And you're like, well, where do I need to be? and I gave you the address, and it was just like, okay, it really wasn't even trying to convince you or even asking you. It was like,
No.
hey, come here. Okay. And then you showed up. Yeah. Yeah. I look at moments like that and I wonder what my uncles thought of us as we were trying to stomp through the woods and chase. I wonder if they thought we were handicapped. Like,
No, I
no,
think that they remember they were probably jealous.
oh, living those days. Yeah. Where
Yeah.
they didn't have any kids at home or,
They were there. They were
yeah,
there at one point in time.
yeah, exactly. Reliving the glory
But
days.
I do remember, he taught us how to cook this is still a staple in my camp diet.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what their daggum called it now. The noodles, not ramen, but the noodles with the cheese, over the fire. He taught us how to cook those, and I still
Yeah.
make those for my boys whenever we're out camping.
Okay. Okay.
Because we
I
were
don't,
broke, and he goes, "Man," and Bush's baked beans. That's what
oh,
we
yeah.
ate. That's why
Yeah.
maybe that's why the shed smelled.
You
And
just
literally
open up a can of Bush's maple
maple.
bacon,
Yep,
maple bacon, and he just set the can right in the fire
yep.
with a pair of pliers. And
And
then,
he goes, I'm not gonna quote him, but I'm semi quoting him is, "If you boys can only eat these 2 things, you'll always have beer money." I'm taking it to the grave. You heard it here, folks.
there you go. Beans and like the cheapest noodles possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was so much fun. But outside of that, like, what was turkey hunting like? Did that light a spark really? I mean, at that point, was it like, dude, I'm just going to turkey hunt every year? What was it like to get permission? What was it like growing your strategy after that?
Well, back then it wasn't hard. The permission piece wasn't hard.
No, not
Um,
especially not for turkeys.
and especially, I mean, yeah, and then, at the next season I'd moved back, so I was back home where we grew up. And so, you could go knock on your buddy's dad's door and he would always let you go hunt.
Yeah,
So, I did realize that I had no clue how to call.
yeah,
So a lot of just like anybody that's ever elk hunted or turkey hunted, you spend a lot of time when you're driving by yourself with a mouth call and you're just trying to figure it out, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And go from there.
yeah.
Um, and that was about the time when I don't even know what do you call them anymore. Um, Chat rooms were still a thing. So
Oh yeah.
like
Well,
where
yeah.
you
Chat rooms. Yeah,
because you couldn't do this. You couldn't,
yeah.
vlogs weren't a thing.
No,
So you
really before even the YouTube things. Like YouTube was, I think, around there, but no one was using it for like
no,
instructional videos or anything like that.
so, you just kind of followed people's stories or you
Yeah,
read, magazine articles
yeah,
and you tried and interpreted what the heck they meant by whatever, how to call,
yeah,
or you just ask people. I mean, I joined the NWTF, the Skunk River Raspy Cutters,
yeah,
and I just leached on to whoever I knew that could turkey hunt and tried to collect as much data and intel as I could.
yeah, yeah,
And back then, it wasn't so hush hush. People were willing to help,
yeah, yeah,
and spent a lot of time not hunting. I spent a lot of time going.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
What was that? What were the first couple seasons past camp that first year like for you? I mean, did you find success or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um. The but then the turkey population was. I don't want to say different.
it
I
was
think
it was better, dude.
it was better
Yeah,
there, but there wasn't as many turkey hunters. And if there was, I don't know. Maybe there was,
yeah,
but it seems like there, at least where I'm at, there wasn't as many people turkey hunting,
yeah.
but, the turkeys were dumber, maybe? I don't know, for lack of a better term. It
Man,
was
I
they
don't
weren't
know.
educated. I could if every time I would go out, and maybe I had more time,
Yeah,
I could pre-scout, I could go out and roost them at night before, once you have kids, that stuff stops.
yeah,
I mean, we're being honest here. That stuff
yep,
stops, for the most part. I might be able to go out and try and roost some turkeys once or twice during the year, and
yeah,
generally, I know where they're at, but only because I've hunted the same property for 25 years.
yeah,
Um, there's stuff that you can put to your advantage, but, I strictly bow hunt turkeys now, so that's kicked me in the butt.
Yeah.
more times than not,
Yeah.
but that's just a decision I made. This year I'm kind of doing a little old school and going, I'm using my compound too, but I'm going longbow. I'm mixing in longbow with it.
Wow, buddy.
Um, that's something my younger or my oldest son has gotten into, and, so I don't know why, but then, of
Yeah.
course, if he's gonna do it, I'm not gonna get one upped, so
You gotta go trad. If he's going compound, you gotta go trad, right?
yep.
Yep. Okay. But I will say this, like kind of elaborating on that thought, there the I can remember going to this farm where I've been deer hunting now forever and hunting and getting access back home, getting access up north, up there. And there was just there was so much more turkeys, dude. There was so many. And I went on a streak, and I think it was like 7 years in a row. I would always go, and this was before they shifted. Do you remember earlier when I believe Iowa shifted its season and a whole week back?
Mhm.
Like, because I remember turkey hunting on like the first weekend of April. They had the youth season before that, and then it was always like the first weekend, which would be at like the 5th, 6th, or 7th. And man, there was no green in the timber. And man, I went on this like a 7-year streak where I just showed up, I sat down, I called in a tom, it flew down and just like shot him right in his face, right like right before like the sun was even up. And I went
Yep.
first day, like in and out, like I was home for breakfast type of deal, 7 years in a row. And then it started to change, I thought. And so that would have been like around what 2010-ish time frame or something like that, is a guess. But yeah, dude, I think there was more turkeys. I think there was less pressure. And I think that just kind of combines into dumb turkeys just walking right to you a lot of times, right? And so I don't know. And I think that like, man, I just remember seeing so many strutters just out in fields driving around back then, being able to get permission and go knock on the door while there's a strutter down there, and then like hopping in a creek and coming up behind them and shit like that, just doing that whenever. And then somewhere around 2010, all that started to disappear. Access started to disappear, like all that stuff.
Well,
And
I think we're also negating one thing is, the predator controls changed.
maybe, yeah,
Um, dude, I don't know about your scene up there, but down here in Southeast Iowa, I'm still running probably, I don't know, 8 to 12 cell cams just
all
because,
year,
yeah, you know where I'm at,
yeah,
and trespassing, and especially get down here in the Hicks and morale season's going
yeah,
on,
yeah,
shed season,
yeah.
people don't know boundaries, and so more of a monitor type deal, not
Yep.
necessarily trying to see
Bust
what's going
anybody.
on.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I'm not kidding you, like, 2 days ago, I work nights, so then I woke up in the afternoon, and, I had, I think, 119 pictures of coyotes. I mean, I'm getting 50, 60 pictures a day of coyotes, and I have about 1,000 acres I can hunt, and that's not all one chunk, that's, here, they're checker box, but
Yeah.
and some are north of where I'm at, some are west, completely different counties, and, I mean, I'm getting 25 to 50 pictures a day of coyotes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coons are a real deal. Um, I mean, that's an issue, and to the point where the last thing I need to do is start another hobby just
Yeah.
after my wife and kids.
Yeah.
Um, but, like, we've tried to coyote hunt, and I'll use the word tried because those things are, I don't give them enough credit.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm talking thermals, rifles, and you know how diehard bow hunters we are.
Yeah.
And I'm to the point now where I'm looking at calling some of our friends in to come out and
Trap them or something. Do something.
eradicate. And I'm all for trapping. I just hate the fact that it's during deer season.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's getting stupid.
Yeah. So I had a buddy who he lives in southern Iowa, south central Iowa, and he was telling me that over the course of 1 year, and he's got a lot of property, but over the course of 1 year, he caught 250 coons throughout all of his property over the course of the year. And I think raccoons now, you might have to double check this. Either he got permission from the state, or coon trapping now might be all year round
I
because they're
think
so overpopulated.
I think it's year round too. I
Yeah.
don't trap, but I would agree. And that's just that's a, another pastime that people don't coon hunt with dogs anymore.
Yep.
Um, unfortunately, it was always a money thing. I mean, there's a traditional thing there too, but
Yep.
they're not worth anything. So
No.
why waste your time doing it?
Yeah.
That's we're gonna lose that. We're gonna lose that tradition
Yeah.
probably this generation.
Yeah. That's
Um,
nuts.
and that's crazy to think about. I mean, that's a service
Yeah.
for guys like you and I that I mean, I know I don't have time or the knowledge or the
Yeah.
skill to do. Um,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
needs done.
Well, the reason I brought that up is because the following year, after he took those 250 coons off his property, dude he said I had the best turkey season, and the
Hmm.
next 2 years were just spectacular. But he said it was so hard to keep up with getting the coons off this property that it became like a daily thing where, you can't let them just like sit in a trap and rot, right? He had to shoot them and get them off the property because they were such a pest. But I remember that one year, um, and you know where that farm is that I hunt, but I think I had 12 coyotes in one picture, one trail camera picture.
Hmm.
And just walking out of the timber on certain days, I think they went through the county and they just exploded. They ate all these rabbits. They ate everything they could, and then then there was nothing left for them, and they moved out of the area. And so I think you're right, dude. And then after you talk with all these wildlife biologists about like nesting practices and things like all the things that affect nesting turkeys, there's so many odds stacked against them every single year that's why they took that huge dip. Um, Before I finish my thought on this, though, I do have to send a quick shout out to Montana Decoys. They make a really, really lightweight, compact turkey decoy that you can stuff in your bag. It's easy to pop up and get out in front of you just like a moment. So go check out all of the turkey decoys at montanadecoy.com. Now, over the last handful of years, have you noticed? I feel like I've noticed a little bump up in quantity, like they're coming back. Have you seen that?
I have. I definitely have. I would also argue that that's because I've convinced my landowners have done some CRP work,
Okay.
and I think that's we're gonna get all Steven Ranella here, but I think that there's something to that if you connect the dots in that.
Oh yeah, there definitely is.
Um, because that's a thing that in Iowa, I mean, I don't know much about that because I don't own any ground that's big enough to do that, but I guess because that program's there's some issues with that going on right now, and they're saying I mean, they're talking millions of acres going away in the next couple of years just in Iowa.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
Potentially, if they don't figure it out or get the budget for it.
it'll be
Yep.
gone. And
Yep.
so, what's that going to do? If we're talking habitat for not only deer, I mean everything.
Yep.
If the money's not there, you know as well as I do, those farmers are going to start pushing that in, and then any of those drainages that are habitat, those thick fence lines that we like to hang our tree stands in,
Yep.
gone. They're going to
Gone.
push those in, and we're talking millions of acres at that point.
Yep.
And
100%.
so it's crazy to think about how just something simple as that can be a detriment to
Yeah.
the things that we hold true. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy that uh, that you have to balance that because obviously things are hard right now for the farmers, dude. I'm not gonna tell them they're doing wrong by pushing in a fence row and tilling up so they can get more acres of crop out,
mhm,
or farming right up to the river's edge and things like that. I mean, shit, they got to make a living too. But if you're taking away a CRP program that people have relied on and has been the framework for all the like pollinators. Like Iowa needs pollinators, man. Iowa needs birds. Iowa needs turkeys. Like all these things, man. And as that CRP program grew there for a while, I feel like the turkey population came back, but that's on like a razor's edge right now, man.
mhm.
I'd hate to see that go away. So yeah. Um, Outside of that, You did you? How many years of gun hunting did you do before you turned to a bow?
Like serious gun hunting, or
Yeah.
just
No, I meant like gun hunting turkeys to trying to shoot them with a bow.
not long.
Yeah.
Um, 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I I think I started bow hunting, well, 2026. This was my 20th year bow hunting. So,
Bow hunting period or bow hunting
period.
turkeys?
I picked
Period.
up
Okay.
a bow in 2025 or in 2005 for the
2005.
first
Yep.
time.
Yep. Yep.
That was because that would have been that would have been 2003, 2004 was when I met Todd,
Yep.
and then it took me about a year to jump on that bandwagon, and
Yep.
then I started about 20 or 2005 was when I started bow hunting, and then since then, I mean, I still gun hunt, but just as a tool to help, curb the
Ex-
doe population and hunt with my boys. And
yeah.
I'm part of some veteran hunting organizations, so I take veterans out and stuff like that all the time, and
Yeah.
so that's always fun.
Do you pull a veteran for turkey hunting every year too, or not?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
A couple if we can.
Yeah. That's cool. So 2005, you kind of picked up a bow. I've tried one or two seasons, and I didn't use a bow or a blind. I just kind of sat in the woods, tried to sit behind a tree. They catch me drawing every time. But talk to me a little bit about how you bow hunt for turkeys. Like, what's the strategy there?
Well, the strategy is the fact that the tag is open from day 1 to the end of the season.
Yeah.
I don't have the luxury of being like, "Hey, Jesse, I'm gonna go hunting this week,
Yeah.
this season," when it comes to turkey season.
Yeah.
Just we're just busy, 2 boys, and so the benefit is I can hunt from day 1, and, it's good throughout the entirety of the season.
Yeah.
Um, all the seasons, I guess I should say. So the strategy is I really don't have an expectation. Usually, I'm dragging one of the boys with me or a buddy or something, and just to
Mhm.
go out and have fun.
Yeah.
I could care less if I kill a turkey. Um, ultimately, I'm usually out there getting sidetracked about. I'll find a new deer trail, and I'm like, "Holy cow!" And I get out on X, and I'm looking for tree stand trees, and maybe I'll find a shed or a mushroom or something like that. So usually, when I'm turkey hunting, turkey hunting's the last thing on my mind, but for me, that's the point. For people that don't know, I am a veteran. Hunting is my escape. I've used that as a way to help my PTSD, TBI, stuff like that. And so, the point is to go out there and get away and,
Yeah.
spend time with friends and family in the woods. So I could care less if I shoot a turkey. I want to shoot a turkey. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
Now deer hunting, on the other hand, that's not going to be the case. um, but it's just fun. So I don't have an expectation. I love to hear the gobbles. Of course, you love to watch them come in and strut and play the game. I just bow hunting, man. Kind of redneck. I bought what are they called? Easy hangers. And this might be my
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't talk about this, but if somebody steals my idea, I'm gonna be upset. Those the easy hangers that are cheap on Amazon that fold out, they're like 18 inches long
Yeah.
and they're like 3 arms. I
Yep.
drilled like half-inch holes every inch in that. You know what I'm saying? Like straight
Okay.
down. So like a
Yeah.
bow holder, right?
Yeah.
Screw it in the tree behind me and I can jam tree branches in it.
Okay.
So that I can manipulate it around me. Or so if I draw my right hand, so I'll put it on my left side on a tree and I can build like kind of a little blind. And all I have is this little easy hanger in my backpack.
So you're not even using a full blind?
No, I'm not carrying that crap anywhere I go. That's
So you're
heavy, man.
you're shooting them from the ground
Yeah.
with this little makeshift
Yeah.
wall of sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
I mean, obviously I'm manipulating some switchgrass or if there's
Yeah,
a down tree, I'm going to tuck into that. But yeah,
yeah, man, you're better than me because
I don't know
my
about this.
my dumb.
I don't have a wall full of turkeys, but no, it's just, I've gotten to the reaping game a little bit. It's been a
Oh,
couple
buddy.
years. I reaped one a couple years ago, not because I wanted to, because I was having issues and I saw one in the middle of the daggum field on the way home and I was like, fuck it. And then I had success with that. That was cool.
So you
Um,
just flapped a fan up and he came in?
I crawled behind a fan through you're gonna know what I'm talking about. On the east side of the road, there's the big field.
Yeah.
Driving down the road right there, and right by where you saw my huge buck a couple years ago that you called me about.
Yep, for sure. I know
I
exactly
parked
where you're at now.
I parked on the road, crawled in the ditch within like 100 yards, just crawled on my hands and knees with the fan like this and my bow. I got within like 30 yards and went like with my mouth, and he just thundered off. I put the thing down, drew, and he was at like 8 yards and
And he just like stood
crazy,
there. He stood there
crazy.
and watched you draw.
Yep.
Man, I don't I'm jealous. Like, dude, why I mean, I get the reaping thing. Why do you think there's people out there that are against it? Is it purely a safety standpoint from like cuz I can see how someone could accidentally
Dude,
get shot.
did you hear about that like 3-year-old in Michigan the other day?
No, I didn't hear about it.
I'm not gonna. It's either Michigan or Minnesota. They allow like super young kids to hunt as long as they're with adult.
Yeah.
I guess some guy was reaping or something, and some 3-year-old shot it.
My neighbor
I'm not
girl
kidding you.
is 3 years old. I don't even know how they can she couldn't even handle a 410, dude.
I don't know.
Maybe it's a big 4-year-old.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think that there's. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I don't know. It was fun.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it. I don't know how to talk because I would be pissed if I'm on some public ground and there's some jackwagon reaping all the turkeys because he's just blown it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If there's 10 other people out there patiently waiting, and here comes some guy just walking along trying to reap all the turkeys and he blows out 200 acres,
Yeah.
that's kind of a shitty thing to do. Now, if it's on my ground and I want to blow them all out on the neighbor's property, I can do whatever I want. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm
Right.
not going to tell anybody how to hunt. And I'm also trying not to tell anybody how to hunt on public ground either, because that's they own that ground as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's fun, but there's also, to me, hunting is also a social thing. So there
Yeah.
is something. Some of my best times are sitting next to a tree at 0 dark 30 with you, hating life.
Yeah.
You know, like, so what do you want for breakfast? Knowing damn well that breakfast is like 6 hours away still. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
like talking to some of my best talks are tree stand talks with my sons,
Yeah.
or making sure they're still awake when the toms cut crest in the hill and you can
Yeah.
see the tips of the fan and like, hey, and then you can see the whites of their eyes for and it's
Yep.
just, those are my memories. And so without, while you're reaping, you're not getting any of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's something in today's society. It's so instant, so demanding, so
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy the process,
Yeah.
enjoy
Dude,
the failures.
we grew up and I was talking about this. We grew up in an era before the easy button became a thing. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
before the cell cams, before like the badass calls, the red dots, like we had to have some kind of um woodsmanship on how to get close to these birds without like using a really high definition decoy or like some of the best mouth calls in the game or anything like that. Like you had to kind of put them to bed and you had to know where they were at and how to call them in and things like that. And feel like, especially with the deer hunting, there's the easy button approach that's been put aside. But now when you add that technology to someone like us who's already kind of learned it, then guys like us become deadly because we know the woodsmanship, but now we have the easy button too. You know what I mean?
I agree. And my kids might not agree. I know my older son, Jameson, wouldn't have agreed, but agrees now. Um, as a father, I never made their lives easy,
Yeah.
especially in the woods. Um, I never put my kids on deer. During back in the day, he shot his first turkey at 6, and we'd go out, but we did the stuff we go out before and we'd look for turkeys. I would intentionally take him to fields before season where I knew there was not going to be any turkeys.
Yeah.
Shot his first little forky at 7. Um, but like, I never you see these kids shooting like, even like a 130 at 7's crazy,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
The kids are shooting 200s and it's just nuts. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is there's a process there, right? Whether
Right.
you agree with me or not, I could care less. This is what I did with my kids, and
Yeah.
he's worse than us. His wife is gonna hate me at some point in his life. Um, but like there's something to the failures.
Yeah.
He had to put in the work. If I was in the woods in the summer, both my boys were hanging tree stands with me, picking up the sticks on the trail. They could do what they could do. I'm not
Yeah.
going to have them hanging lone wolves at 7 years old, but by the time they were 10, they weren't
Yeah.
hanging them, but they could hang the first stick. By
Yeah.
the second stick, maybe, but they were raking the trail on the way in. You know, he could use a
Yeah.
wicked tree gear pull saw, but pretty young, cutting out lanes. Stuff
Yep.
like that. Get some sweat equity in.
Yeah. But that's how I approached turkey season. With I could easily go set up a blind on a field edge and wait for him to come
Yep.
by. But man, I feel like, especially with these kids, you can't just hand them something. If you hand them something, then they're going to expect to get handed to again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 2 years I took my daughter turkey hunting, that just like, number one, she fell asleep and a pack of jakes came in and she woke up as they were there. They all split. Another time she's bouncing around and the Tom who was coming in goes silent. I'm guessing he saw us. And then the third year, which was what, not this year. I don't even remember.
Last year, 2 years ago. I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Man, we had to hop like 3 ridges and drop down into this valley and then come up and then call and then drop down and go over to the next ridge and call and do that like 4 or 5 times. And eventually she shot her first bird. And that was an amazing feat, awesome experience. She was really excited about it. But what that did, and what I hope it did, was let her know that, you got to put in a little work to get to these, especially, I don't know, birds and whether they're henned up or whatever the case was on that scenario. But you got to put in a little effort into it. They're not like, daddy's not going to put you on a booner
Mm-mm.
because daddy's never shot a booner before. So, you know what I mean? Like, so you're going to have to work for it. And I feel like that just makes kids love hunting more when they have to work hard for it and then they're gratified.
Yep. I think whether even if they don't agree with it, you're setting
Yeah.
them up for success.
Oh
And
yeah.
hunting correlates. Man, we're getting deep.
Yeah.
Hunting correlates to more than people realize
Yeah.
in life. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? And so,
Absolutely.
I wish I would have learned, lessons that I knew now that I'm still learning now.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel that. I feel that. Um, so as far as turkeys are concerned, you're a self-proclaimed whitetail guy now, but like, do you have any goals, like any other species, or are you just going to be happy with the Iowa season where you're at?
Um, I'd really like to shoot one with my traditional equipment
Yeah.
solely for the reason I can rub it in my son Jameson's face.
Just so I'm better than you. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So
Um,
what's the next step past traditional? If you shoot a traditional, was he going to have to catch one with his bare hands? Or like use a handmade arrow that he napped like the Indians used to do himself?
um, no, I don't know. In all seriousness, I'd like to shoot with my traditional.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think that's probably going to happen. Um,
Yeah.
just, dude, if I have the opportunity to go travel and hunt, awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen. He's getting ready to go play college football.
Yeah.
And so the springtime, maybe I'll be able to sneak away. I think
Mhm.
my elk hunting dreams are pushed aside again for the next 4. Hopefully not. He's not in college like we were for 8 years.
13 years.
Hey, we're called doctors.
We're called doctors.
Um, my younger son is a sophomore, getting ready to be a junior, so then he'll be heading off to college. So who knows where
Yeah.
they're gonna end up. But just have fun in the woods. That's
Yeah.
it. Enjoy, because I know now, you know, my time has come to an end. He's taking that next step.
Yep.
Um, it's kind of funny. He's already like annexed like public ground up where he's going to school, and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're playing football. He's
Yeah.
like, I
In the
know, but like,
fall.
he was like, I know, but we don't have team meetings on Sundays till like the evening, and I'm like,
Good luck. Your son is not going to play football because he's hunting too much. He's never going to start. He's going to like 1 year, and then he's going to be like, dude, this sucks. I'd rather be in a tree stand.
well, he had without diverging too much detail, he had the opportunity to go play out in Montana, at the University of
I
Montana,
know I saw that. I'm
and
like, dude, you should have.
well, the head coach. So that transfer portal's a real mother, you
Yeah.
know what, and they played to go into the national championship, and the head coach left after that, and then the Iowa area recruiter left after the season.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
we called out there to like solidify the paperwork and the deal and stuff, and they're like, "And who are you?" And we're like, "No, not
Yep.
sending you out there for that."
Yep. Never
And
mind.
and so he committed to a school here. Dude, it's an awesome school. He loves it. He just wish it was in the mountains.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that eventually he'll be out west and we'll never see him again, or uh I will, because he told us,
You're gonna be moving out west.
nah, I'm not giving up my Iowa tag, but
Okay.
I might live
Okay.
out there, but I'm gonna own
Right.
something here. Anyway, dude, shit you not. He told his mom, he was like, better say goodbye when I go out west because I'm never coming back. The tears on Jesse's face. And I was like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Now you got to deal with
Uh-oh.
that drama. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, man, I think the only real turkey goal that I have, I think it'd be cool to do a grand slam and get all four. But as of right now, I think the only one I really want to do is I just want to kind of get a Merriam out west in like western South Dakota or some of the Dakotas or western Nebraska or something like that, where I could, you could go to western Kansas or I don't know, Montana, anywhere, and just maybe go after a Merriam on public land somewhere and kind of have maybe like a spring adventure at some point out west. I think that would be badass, man.
Well, let's do it.
Okay.
The only way, see, I love that idea, but I don't want to do it by myself.
Yeah, you're right.
Like I mean, like I watch you do your trips, out west and antelope and stuff, and and I know I always offer to come out, but it's also whitetail season here,
Yeah, right.
but like, man, like I wouldn't want to do that by myself in the
Yeah.
spring. One, I mean, I love turkey hunting, but like, let's build a relationship. Let's do something fun together. Cause then it's
Yeah.
just, let's make some more dumb decisions and have some fun or something like.
Yeah. I like that idea. I think I think the MP boys might make a comeback, dude, for turkey season coming up in the
And
future.
I'm free in the spring now. So let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Well, let me get past this knee surgery, and then next year maybe we go somewhere and
Dude,
do something.
I'm down like 80 pounds right now. I could carry you up the mountain.
No shit,
Yeah.
dude.
I'm down to like 269, 270 right now.
What were you?
340.
Woo! And you're down. What have
I
you
was
been doing?
eating backstrap,
Only backstrap?
a lot of
No,
backstrap. Yingling came to Iowa, so I was down to like 259, 260, and then Yingling came to Iowa.
I saw that on all the stores, dude. And
So
I've been sober for almost a year. No
I
alcohol
know,
for 1 year. And so,
I
yeah.
know. Congratulations on that. But just not being a jackass.
Yeah.
Like when I'm full, stop eating.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need thirds type of deal.
Don't go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
The jumbo buffet off the interstate's not a great idea. You know what I mean?
Three,
Like,
3 days a week. Yeah.
yeah, just don't be an idiot. It's
Yeah,
not that
exactly.
hard. And
Exactly.
guess what? Work out. Like,
yeah. Yeah. I feel that, dude. I feel that. Well, this is has been a great BS conversation, dude. Absolutely loved catching up with you. We got to do I'm serious about this turkey hunting thing for the future. And making something like that happen. Dude, really appreciate you taking time out of your day. If you guys are listening to this episode, go to Spotify or wherever you download or listen to the How to Hunt Turkey podcast. Leave a 5-star review, leave a comment. You can also find this content on YouTube under the How to Hunt Turkey YouTube page. Subscribe to that. Good vibes, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.